Hello everyone, welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotroStream, youtube.com/LordofTheRings/live, and facebook.com/Lotro. I'm Lotro's community manager, Cordova, and I'll be with you for the next hour. We're going to be doing some Q&A. I'll tell you a little bit about what's happening next week. We'll talk a little bit about the Ill-omened skirmish event. Also, I have a big announcement because we're having a party. It's going to be Friday, February 28th, and we are ready to spill the deets on that. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here on your Friday. Hope you're having a good one. Let me move right into it just so I can try to keep the pace up here. We announced yesterday evening, we finally had it all signed and dotted and ready to go. So we're going to be having a meetup on Friday, February 28th. That's from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern at the Adventure Pub in Arlington, Massachusetts. If you think you're going to be able to go, please do RSVP. You're welcome to bring as many people as you would like up to it until we fill the venue, I guess. It's happening the Friday evening of PAX East, but you don't need to be going to PAX East to go. As a matter of fact, this is off-site of PAX East. It's in Arlington, Massachusetts, about 20-25 minutes away from the convention center. If you are there, it does have free on-street parking, something you certainly do not get in downtown Boston. And on top of that, it is a tabletop-themed gastropub, so it's awesome for us. Tabletop games. If you got any games you picked up at PAX and, ooh, I know what that's like, feel free to bring them and play them. That's what this place is all about. We're going to be providing free food. We'll be providing free game tables. We'll have new swag. Yes, new swag that we're going to be bringing to the event. And hopefully we'll have a lot of fun with you. There'll be time for Q&A, both private and public. If you're a streamer or whatever, we should even be able to let you stream from the venue itself. There'll be a full cash bar available. You are responsible for your own drinks, both alcoholic and non. Under the 21-year-olds are able to come in with a responsible adult because it's a family-friendly place. And just so happens to be run by someone who you might know from the Lotro forums by the name Vivienne. So someone with a good connection to both DDO and Lotro. It's a combo event with both DDO and Lotro players. Please do RSVP by next Wednesday. I need to get a final head count to the venue. As deadline's a week before, but if I can help out there cook a little bit, I sure would like to. So if we can get your RSVP by next Wednesday, I can pass it along to the venue. We can make it all happen, and I hope you are looking forward to it. If you're in the area, you probably want to come on by. I know before I got hired at WB Turbine or whatever, I would have been willing to drive a pretty long ways to go to something like this, and I would not have been disappointed. So let's see if you can make it, huh? RSVP, and you can find that link over on the forums. Thanks, Meredith. What is RSVP? That basically says, well, I need to let the venue know for the purposes of food and table space and things like that, how many people are coming. I don't actually... Reservation, please? Is that what RSVP is? Reservations. That's where you get your reservations done for the various restaurants that you go to. So where am I? I'm working through the Black Book of Mordor here, and I guess I can actually get to that in a second. Let me see if I've got any other stuff to mention. When does Rohan Housing come out? So here's the dealio on that. We actually had our first raid preview on Bullroar this week. As a matter of fact, as of the time of this recording, it is wrapping up. It should be probably closed to the public within the next few hours, I believe, is QA's plan for it. And besides the new raid, y'all found something related to Rohan Housing. Now, what you saw is a very early state for Rohan Housing, so don't don't judge it too harshly. It actually is not quite yet ready for preview, but there were elements of it available to take a look at, and clearly people were pretty excited about it, and that's awesome. So hope you enjoyed that first preview. We'll be doing more of that kind of thing in the near future. And the raid did get its first preview. We appreciate the excellent feedback we've received so far on it, and I believe we'll be doing a iteration based on that feedback here within the next, well, I'm pretty sure that's what the person's going to be doing here for the next 5 to 7 work days, probably. So something like that. So anyway, that's sort of where we sit on both Rohan Housing and that. Rohan Housing is in a very early state right now of development, although a lot of the, as you saw, it's not bad in terms of some of the artwork and things. It happens to be in this case that I believe kind of the art and world builders are ahead of some of the systems folks at the current state, so. I better be careful about that one. How about I not die on stream? All right. Oh, répondez s'il vous plaît. Oh, okay. So that's basically your response is asked for, please, right? Something like that. My very limited French. Will there be a mithril coin or a housing writ sale again closer to housing release time? They are on sale right now, but we don't yet know the housing price yet, so not sure how many to buy, but I don't want to miss the sale. I would say, Meredith, over on YouTube, odds are pretty good. We do tend to cycle through our standard promotional sales on a regular basis, and that is one of them. So whether that's formally before Rohan, around Rohan, et cetera, I don't know yet, but just given how much time is likely to pass before it's released to the live worlds, I'd say odds are quite good. Yeah, I know, it's just a baby now, it's cool. Okay, yeah, so Six Sauce Dude, what is the deal with, quote, raid armor sets? Are they, quote, going to change, and are we going to see them before they are put on live? A couple of questions there. First off, the raid armor sets are in their first iteration, so further work, I believe, is planned to be done to them. We did get some pretty strong feedback, as you're alluding to, on this first Bull Roar preview, and I do believe we're going to respond to that feedback. We're aware of that in terms of the feedback. Kind of people's feelings on the new armor set itemization is was one of the things we got the most feedback on. So clearly that's something we need to take a look at. As to whether it's seen, quote, before it goes to live, I would assume so. I believe that would be the plan, because I'm pretty sure we've got at least one more raid preview happening here before we release. So, because as you saw, this was our very first preview just now, so not too surprising that we would still be doing further iteration, but yes. Hadurba asked a question, basically, should we not have just kind of waited till we updated the Ill-omened skirmish event to release it for a second time? That is certainly something that we could have done. I think we just opted ultimately that the calendar made sense to do it now. It was kind of a good event for the right time here, and regardless of our current state of additional development on it, it just seemed like something people wanted, right? So we're bringing it back here, which is what I want to mention, that the Ill-omened skirmish event does kick off next week. That'll be Wednesday, February 19th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And I've got actually up. It will run through March 18th, being shut off on March 19th at 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Additionally, the next day, on February 20th, one day after launching, we are going to be having a 25% skirmish mark boost for that first weekend. That'll be kicking off on the 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern, running through the 23rd, being shut off at the 24th at 3 a.m. Eastern. So that basically will be running through that first weekend. So, good time to maybe check it out if you want to. I have heard that we are going to be adding a couple of new items to them. I believe they are mostly cosmetic in nature. And that's something we intend to, I believe, add before we go live. So there we go. Trying to not die here. I'm helping! It's my constant battle cry. There we go. No, so Kanjal, the rewards are mostly the same as last year. We are going to be adding a couple of new items to it. Like I say, mostly cosmetic in nature. So we are, getting close-ish to releasing the raid to live, although that needs a little bit more time yet, as is evidenced on Bullroar. It's in its really first preview state rather than a more final preview state. But that gives you a good snapshot on where we sit on the raid today. Well, where we sat on the raid last Monday, I guess, is technically the answer. So... Any update on race changes? There is additional QA work being done before we release it to live, but the intention is to release it to live in the relatively near future. We'll make an announcement about it when, we debut that item to you. It'll be something we will certainly want to let you know about, so we will be doing that. Not there yet. Yep, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing up the new cosmetic. I'll be showing that off as well here on this stream. Nothing to announce on the when of a champion class update. I can say that I had a conversation with Vastin this week about that, and he's well aware of the community's desire to have him do some work on it. But I have nothing to announce today. Sorry. Metallic Maniac is pointing out a level 85 quote item gap between endgame sets and loot box gear. Yeah. So it's one of those things where old systems don't necessarily aren't meshing with new systems, but we are aware of it, and we will be working on that as well. You can expect to see, I believe, we've already made some changes for our next game update in regard to that. And the next game update is currently targeting next week, possibly something like next Wednesday. We'll stay tuned for a formal downtime, but something like next Wednesday. And it'll be a small patch with some bug fixes, including that one. And a few other things as well. I don't know, Sick Dude, about the cosmetic look of the new raid gear. I have not personally seen it yet. Producer's letter is being worked on. I saw it this week, and it is currently being sort of passed around the office for feedback. So we'll kind of see how that goes. And then it's usually a handful of weeks after it gets sent out that we can publish it. So but it is largely written as it currently stands anyway. And it's got at least two things that I would say are announcements of significance. So how's that for digging my own hole? Fine. I will take care of you, Wandering Gloom. We also are in the process of getting character transfers back to you. As was evidenced for the last time we had a preview for it, we're not there yet. There was still some additional work that clearly needed to be done, and that work, will have to be done before we reopen it. But we are making progress on it, and we should have more to say in the pretty near future, I think. Yeah, I'll do my Hobbit present. Hey, Linethorn. Alright. Cool. Alright, looks like I'm pretty well caught up on that. We did release Riders of Rohan to the Legendary Worlds, so if you have not had an opportunity to check that out, maybe now's a good time. We also do have, and after I take care of this altar here, I'll show it to you. We have a login bonus that's happening right now. Take care of this person first. All right, cool. So if you log in, and let me actually make sure I've got the correct date on that. All right, now through March 12th. So now through March 12th, any VIP, which also includes lifetimers, who log into a game world, it doesn't have to be legendary, it can be any game world as long as you're a VIP, will receive an Armor of the Elite Rider set. And the Armor of the Elite Rider set will be delivered to you in a bound to account package like this. Once you successfully log in and receive one of these, items, it'll put a token on your account so that all future characters that you log into will get this set if they don't already have it. And it includes a handful of cosmetics that are similar to one you might be familiar with. A little bit like, there's the original OG. I want to find one that I actually don't want to wear. Kind of like my outfits. Okay, there we go. We'll do outfit slot 1. I'm going to go with the non-hooded cloak version of it, of the Elite Rider. I'm so bad at this. Don't forget my pants. Alright, and I'm actually going to turn the head off because I kind of prefer that. Let me switch over to it. And real quick, disable my bow. Actually, while I'm at it, I'm going to disable the visual of my weapon shield as well. Okay, so here's what it looks like on this character. You can see it's similar in scope to a pretty popular design that went with Riders of Rohan, pre-order bonus originally, but has some different styling and coloration and things like that. And that's available to get if you are a VIP between now and March 12th. Once you get the token applied to your account, you'll just get it forever. Which one is that? Fires and Shadowfells. Okay, so... there we go. It's true. The Rohan outfit is not dyeable. That may be in part due to how we're able to bring it to you. You know, as we've explained in the past, you know, things that we have offered as, let's just say, pre-purchase exclusives. Like if we were like, hey, if you order Riders of Rohan now, between now and June 3rd of 2010 or whatever it was, right? Then you will receive an exclusive X. If we've said something like that, then we really can't go back on it. And so that particular armor set, as it stands, really does need to be kept exclusive. And we want to honor that. However, over the years, of course, you know, especially as the years go on, more and more people are like, I want that thing. I never even got the chance. I wasn't even, you know, whatever, playing yet. And so we're able to do it by offering a similar look that's not so similar as to sort of be a problem. And so that's what we do. But then in some cases, if by dyeing it you could, say, make it look more similar to the original, then perhaps we will make a change, as in this case, where it's not dyed. Does that make sense? Yeah, but it's so stupid. I hear you. I promise our PvMP crowd that if I ever hear news about the when on bringing PvMP to the legendary world, I promise you I will let you know. Nothing to announce though, I'm sorry. Here's the great bit about that. That means there's interest, and that's the cool bit. It's going to be a while yet, though. Sorry. No, Monica, over on Facebook, I have not personally shown off Rohan housing. That's available for a really early preview right now on Bull Roarer, but it's not yet ready for me to publicly show off on the show here. Maybe when we get closer to it, we can do like a housing special or something like that. I get Scenario and crew in here to talk a little bit more about it. Nothing to announce on race changes. We're glad there's a lot of excitement for it, and as soon as we know more, or as soon as it's ready to go, we'll announce it. Let's see, what else should I mention? How much would it take to crowdfund a PvMP fix? I have no idea. I don't think that's how it works, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's fine if someone wins a code in the raffle and they want to give it to a friend or Kinney or whatever, that's perfectly fine. Kenad asks over on Twitch, is UI skin modifying, quote, illegal? No. We do support Lua scripting for UI skins, and there's a whole ton of them out there. If you go take a look at, just Google Lotro UI skins, and you'll have a wealth to choose from. Okay, I think I'm up to date there. We have an internal date on when the raid is scheduled to go live. I guess I would say that that date is currently before April. The person who said would it be out by April, essentially. I think, yeah. I mean, we'll see. But probably. Oh, also, let me call out that we're going to be bringing on a new Lotro streamer here in the near future. That'll be Eternal War 327. You can go check out his channel now if you want to over on twitch.tv/Eternal War 327. Give him a follow or whatever. He'll be debuting a show in the pretty near future here over on Lotro Stream. I think we're getting him set up hopefully within the next couple of days, and so whatever time works out best for that, we'll have a first show. So that's cool. Always neat to see new people get a show on Motra Stream. As soon as I try to narrow in a date on a producer's letter, I just cause myself endless headache. So I'd rather just say that I've seen it, we're making progress, and it's coming along. But I don't want to commit to a date. As soon as I do, I'm going to instantly cause myself to be wrong. You know, kind of the Schrodinger's box scenario. As long as they don't acknowledge it, it might exist. Yes, Big Hansen, there will be a bug patch for the new instances, I believe, as well. That's the other driver of a small patch for next week. I think we're targeting a 25.3.4 for potentially something like Wednesday-ish. I think we want to get it in time for the standard weekly downtime if we can. Guess let's see about going up there, huh? Eternal War 327 is the tag on that. So, alright, I do have stuff here. Let me just take care of this here quick. Yeah, Vico over on YouTube, I would expect some pretty big announcements in our producer's letter, and we're working on it. Should be hopefully in the relatively near future, but I don't want to commit to a date today. Myself out here a little bit. All right. I don't know, Dalibor, specifically what QA's plan is for next week, whether they're going to try to do another bull roar in addition to that patch, or what else they might have in mind. So I don't want to commit their time yet, but I would say that we'll probably have another bull roar in the near future, whether it's next week or maybe the week after. I don't know today. cool. Phil's talking a little bit. We'll be ready for Grifflet here for the next splat. Well, thank you so much, Monica. I really appreciate that. I honestly, I don't want to overly set expectations, but we're gonna, at the moment, we understand that the community doesn't really have a real good sense of what's in store for 2020. We've been pretty secretive about our plans, so we'll have a lot to share with that producer's letter, I think, about what to expect here in 2020, and hopefully find it quite exciting. There we go. Interval tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. The Warders will be playing music at Lover's Pond, Overhill, the Shire. Join us for a dance or sing along. Also, be doing the Beacon here this week, and I know Paul Noluni is doing something here. On top of that, there's the Purple Pipeweed Band will be doing a classical music series that kicks off this weekend as well. I can't remember what server. Maybe Laurelin on that one. Yes, Matina, I have at least one kinship night per week that I do off stream. Oh man, how do I get up there? Looks like there might be a path. Not too easy though. Yes, lotroartist.com. Oh, before I bother everyone too much, let's see how the Hobbit gifts go. Boosts and buffs. There you go. Ooh, wrong way. The Hunter Swift bow sounds. That one I'm aware of. I've let the team know about. I know they've received it. And I have not yet heard on a timetable for a fix. But we do know about that. Yes. When will Minas Morgul get released for Lotro points? Check the FAQ on that. It says March and it gives the cost and everything. I go this way. Yeah. Alright. Sweet. Dude, get the pop-up quests. I know, I'm so terrible. Yeah. It's hard to multitask. Alright. My navigation skills have improved. Not that much. But let me just say that if you think it's because I'm bad at this game, no, it's because I'm bad at every game. Yeah. You'd think a lifetime spent playing video games would make you good at them, but... Probably kick your butt at Galaga, though.
Terror and awe filled my heart as the storm fell upon the haunted pass, hurling our foes like children's toys, and at last smoke the black gates themselves.
If I'm bad at, quote, everything, then I'm bad at being a community manager. Sorry. Oh, happy Valentine's Day. All right.
Over here, as quiet as you can.
Okay.
I have scouted the Ill-omened, and if we are to remain in secret, we must do something about the enemy forces nearby.
All right, so I'll be kind of going back through here a little bit. And those are the pop-up ones as well. Sure. All right. Well, let me see. Dying in an MMO is a basic human right. Nice. Yeah. Speaking of retro stuff, today is another day in history where Hollywood attempts to make another video game movie. That one being the one, the only Sonic the Hedgehog. As someone who grew up playing Sonic the Hedgehog, and even has a copy of it on my current Switch, I am very much looking forward to seeing what I am sure is going to be an amazing Sonic the Hedgehog movie that will finally put to rest any fears that Hollywood might make a bad video game movie. I mean, I know they haven't done it yet, but there's always a first time. We'll see how that goes tonight. I am very much looking forward to it. I love good movies and all sorts of movies. And I am very much looking forward to seeing how Hollywood treats the Sonic the Hedgehog. Not since Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li have I gone to a video game movie in the movie theater. No, I haven't, Kanjal. Asking about the kind of big video game show on Netflix right now. I haven't had a chance to see it. I've been playing too many of our games, frankly. Yeah. I've been playing a fair amount of low show and DDO lately. It's been fun. That's true, it's based on the book, not the game. As I understand it. But, like I say, I'm not an expert on that particular series. How many is too many or too few? Oh, I saw Street Fighter with Van Damme back in the day in the movie theater. If I get an opportunity to see like I say, a surely incredible piece of cinema based on a video game property, I am very likely to go because it never disappoints. They are always worth my time. As a lover of things, both good and otherwise. I've seen MK in the theater. Yeah. Heck, I saw the old Mario Brothers movie in the theater. The old Super Mario Brothers one with Dennis Hopper in it. I saw that in the movie theater. That's how old I am. It wasn't good then either. So I was the other person. I've been to the first movie I ever saw where I was the only person in the movie theater that I remember was Hudson Hawk. I went to see Hudson Hawk. I was the only person there. Oh yeah, I very much grew up with like the Rankin Bass and all that kind of thing. The Hobbit was consistently, you know, one of my favorite cartoons as a kid, and I like the you know, Fellowship Return for what they were. So you know, it's one of those things where I think an argument could be made that in 2020, you know, the original Hobbit cartoon doesn't hold up super well. But certainly at the time it did. It was one of the cooler looking and more unique looking cartoons that I remember being available at that time of release. Certainly as a kid at the time, I was like, I'd never seen anything like it. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. Even the Glenn Yarborough music and everything. Byron, as soon as we know more about when we'll be able to reopen the character transfer system to the public, we will let you know. Not yet, though. So especially, remember at the time, I had read the... No, I had not. I had seen the Hobbit movie before I read the Hobbit book. By a number of years. But I had just started to get to know Dungeons & Dragons at that point. So I was kind of already in that sort of fantasy geekosphere, as it were. And so I remember for a lot of us at the time, the Hobbit movie was real cool. But, you know, it gets disparaged maybe a bit nowadays. Yes, Wizards DD. My name is Cordovan, Jerry Snook. I'm the community manager for the Lord of the Rings Online. I actually do work for Standing Stone Games as the community manager, and every Friday at noon Eastern, I basically give up my lunch and just kind of hang out with y'all and answer some questions. Try to get you the most up-to-date stuff that I have. And just sort of kick off the weekend in style. Amanda Lane, it's hard to provide quality tech help over Twitch chat here. It sounds like I would run the DirectX end-user runtime, which it kind of sound like a broken record. I mention it enough here. But I would. It might help. Otherwise, if you're running into a specific issue after this week's patch, maybe go into the repair function. It'll check to make sure that you don't have a corrupt DAT file or something of that nature. And then barring that, if none of that works, you can always get in touch with us. That's help.standingstonegames.com. Gold class items. Remondweir, I will have to follow up post-show on your question about level 85 plus gold class items not dropping in T2C. I believe that I too saw something about that, but I've just been in the middle of too many pieces this week to know specifically off the top of my head where we sit on that one. So I'll have to follow up later. Oh, I totally did that wrong, didn't I? Great. All right. Yeah, thanks, Lena Thorne. Nice to see you here. No, Haderb. It's not terrible taste. It's refined taste. I know what I like. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good. Also, not is it amusing to me that basically any 90s kid's gonna be like, whoa, they're finally making a Sonic movie in 2020? And then if you were to ask that 90s kid, well, who should play Dr. Robotnik, there's a pretty good chance they might well respond by one Jimothy Carey, who happens to be the person doing it. So it's like 90s kids, they do understand. They probably would have said the same thing that people were saying if you were a studio executive and whatever. How weird is that? I thought it was stated that the old loot tables were not going to be implemented, all update 9.10 purple, cyan, and gold items, and they were just sticking with the update 12.1 loot table. I think is that specifically in regard to the gold class items? Yeah, I have not had time to do my research on that one, so I'm just not really able to help too much at this point. Sorry. What is that pink thing? What am I trying to get here? Okay. So there must be a spear or sword rack still in there somewhere. Oh, there we go. If you're talking about old weapon systems that have since been deprecated, remember that the Legendary Worlds operate on the same live base as every other world. So item systems that have been deprecated on live should not be expected to have an exclusive return, say, on the Legendary Worlds. Sword rack. Oh no! Oh gosh! Oh no! Oh, this is such a bad idea! Oh my gosh! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I'm so doomed. Oh gosh, darn it. No! Come on! Run away! Run away! Yeah. Any word? Someone's saying any word about the quote random crash to desktop issues. Please get in touch with customer service on that one. I have not seen, like, say, any kind of systemic reports of everybody crashing to desktop or anything. So, that certainly hasn't been my personal experience either. So, that doesn't mean you're not experiencing it. But that does mean that you should get in touch with technical support so that they can help you. I mean, it's not to say, I mean, you have 20 million installations on of a game on a computer or something like that. You're going to have X% always having some level of technical support necessity. I know that our team is continuing to work on, say, the various 64-bit client stuff and other things. So we'll see what we have in the future there. I am looking for sword cases. Where are the sword cases? Should still be around. Okay. Tim99X, can I just summarize the most important news? So, yeah, sure. Let me wrap up the show here as we're getting close by doing exactly that. We did have our first raid preview on Bull Roarer this week. We'll be doing another preview of that in the future. We do want to thank you for the feedback on that. The Ill-omened skirmish event kicks off next week. That'll start on the 19th, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. And you can find the run-through date on the event schedule. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. Finally, if you're going to be in the Boston area on Friday, the 28th of February, we are inviting you to a PAX East area community meetup that'll be taking place at the Adventure Pub in Arlington. And if you go over to the Lotro forums, you'll find a forum thread where you can find out more about what's going to happen and where you can RSVP. That sounds like a pretty good little summary there. So thanks everyone for being here. Hope you have a good time. We're going to be having Corey Olson, the Tolkien professor, up next, followed by Druid's Fire, and you can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotroStream. Have a great weekend, everyone. See you next week.